Hey, how's everyone? So today's exercise is about grips, leaders, and viewports. So the first part of the exercise is like I want you to draw this and then recreate this using grips. Okay. So first of all, what are grips? Grips are like, for instance, if you have the drawing. So for instance, I already drew the first one just to save some time. So if I click on anything, then you see those three blue squares. Those three blue squares are known as grips. Okay. So when a grip is not selected, it is just the way you see it. It's just like the color is it's dark. I mean blue. But if you click on it, then the color changes to red. So when it's red, you can see that like it's an active grip. Okay. So in this exercise, what you are required to do is just like simply just to recreate whatever diagram that you see here. Okay. So for instance, this is like 6 by 14 rectangle on the top, and then on down you have like 6 by 12, and then you need to change that to 7 by 15, and then that 1 by 8, and so on and so forth. So if you look at here, for instance, like by holding the grip, right, I can make changes to a drawing. For instance, if the first choice is like if I hold the little square thing, and then if I do the following, if I turn on this, that means change it to in and then move it like this, by default what it does is like AutoCAD will stretch that line. Okay. So but at the same time, like do the following. So click on one and then turn on one of them. Once you turn on, what you can do is like press the space bar on your keyboard, right here. If I do that, then from stretch it changes to move. So by holding that grip, I can move around this guy. You see the way you see it. And then, but there's also like more tricks with those grips. If I press and hold it, and then not holding it, but if I press the space bar twice, then it changes to a rotational action. So that means like by holding the grip, I can rotate an object. Okay. Then what else? But I can also do like a scaling problem. Like if I turn on that one, and then if I press the space bar 1, 2, 3 times, then I can have a scale factor for this one. I can scale it by twice, or I can scale it by half by typing 0.5. It just gets down to a smaller size, right? So therefore, that's the importance of grips. So I just want you to exercise that. Like you create that, and then for instance, you know, what the exercise is like, you know, select this one, and I'm going to make a copy of that so that you can have the comparison. So the first part is like, you know, as you can see, this total dimension is 14. Then I need to change that to 19. So what I can do is I can do the following. I can select this line and this line, and then this line, and then if I turn on more than one grip, so I'm going to turn all those 3 ones together, and then I'm going to move it. So I turn it on one, and then what I can do is I can press you can press and hold actually the shift key. I can have them like all of them like turn it on, and then if I can hold this guy and then move it up, so by moving it up by how much, by 5 for instance, then automatically the dimension changes from 14 to 19. See, that's what I can do. I can do the same thing like for the lower one. If you can see here, like I can change this dimension from 6 to 7 if I do the following. If I select this line, it's this line and this line, and then I can press and hold the shift before I start clicking on it. See, then okay, then I can select this line, select that line, select that line, press the shift key and turn them on, and then I can click on the middle one and then move this by 1, then the dimension is stretched now by that amount. Okay, so the overall exercise is like, you know, how to exploit the grip option. If I want to rotate this object, I just can show you like how to rotate it. I can select it, and then I can click on one of the grips where I want to turn, and then press the space bar until I see the rotate option on the command line. Okay, now it's the move option. I can move it around. If I press this, it's the rotation option. Then I can rotate, for instance, this one by 45 degrees, something like that. Okay, so this is the first part of the exercise, and then just follow the steps and then do it. So the second part of the exercise, it says like open the floor plan that you had. So the floor plan that we had is me here. Yeah, this is the floor plan. Of course, we did some dimensioning and things like that on top of it, but and then it says like open the floor plan and for the exercise, and then what it says is like this, and then it says like put a sink, a dishwasher, a refrigerator, oven, and then of course I also want you to put a toilet. Just make your own for size. So I already gave you like the size of those different items, and I already prepared them like for the sake of, you know, to do those things a little faster. So what I'm going to do is like I already created them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select them, Control C, and then I will bring them to my drawing. So whatever layer they can be. So then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and this layer is going to be, I'm going to call it architectural appliances, you know, a PPL. And then the exercise says I'm going to have a color. No, I'll go with maybe already have a cyan color for this. You can do to a color like, you know, something. I would say I would go with like maybe a green color or something like that. Then the exercise says like put those things in a kitchen. I'm going to assume this is the kitchen of the room. Then probably, you know, what I will do is I'll take the kitchen, all right, the way. So follow the dimensions and then create your own. You can Google any dimension of a sink. Of course, it has to be a proper dimension. Then I'm going to move it, probably move it around here. So, you know, sink is always by the wall, and next to it is like you would like to have the dishwasher, right? So maybe I'll move the dishwasher by holding this and bring it, and I'll put it right next to it. You know, that happens because you have the object snap up on, and you know, AutoCAD will bring and then snap it to the nearest line that you may assume. Then I'm going to bring it just as close as possible and I'll put it there. And to the right side, I'm going to put the oven. So make sure that like you create those drawings by yourself, and then, you know, move those things. See, I'm using the grips just to move it around. Okay, so like that. And maybe the refrigerator, I don't know where you want to put it, but it's up to you. And then I'm going to put it and move it and bring it around here, maybe on this side, so that will be closer to thing. Okay, but I need to rotate it, right? So I can hold the grip and press the spacebar until I see the rotation, and then of course rotation is like that, and after that move it and bring it close by the wall. Maybe it's too close to, you can have it right. Okay, so and then I mentioned that like put in a a bathroom or a toilet seat somewhere in here. So what you can do is like select this line, right click and select similar, all those are similar ones, and then put them on the appliance layer. Okay, they were all on the 0 layer and appliance layer. Then automatically, they are acquiring. There are a few of them that are one selected. Go select similars again and change their layers to appliances. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, there are a few of them. Then you go ahead and then change them to as well. Then we need. I'm going to turn on the object snap. I usually prefer to have that thing on. I'm going to delete those texts. Texts are not really that important. And then I'm going to draw a toilet seat and then bring it like probably, assuming that this is a bathroom, and then I'm going to put it over here. Okay. So the way it's going to proceed is like you create your own toilet dimensions, but I'm going to draw one for you here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a rectangle by 15.8, so 15 inches in this direction, and then 8 inches in this direction, and again 15 inches in this direction, and I'm going to close it. So I have a rectangle that's the back of the toilet seat. Then I'm going to fillet. By, I would say I would go with 1 inch. Then I'm going to fillet this side. I have to keep radius. Fillet radius 1. I'm going to do the same thing, same radius, and then I'm going to do fillet again, but a new radius, which is 2.5. I'm going to use that for this side. So this side of the toilet, this is the back side where the water and the handle happens. And then I'm going to create a new rectangle for the sitting part. I prefer to use the line command instead of like the rectangle. I'm going to create 16 by 12 rectangle, 16. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this line by 2, offset distance 2, and then I'm going to offset this line 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and then offset that line, the new line, by 3. Okay, those are like to create the arcs. Okay, so the way I'm going to proceed is like, now I'm going to go ahead and then create the 2 arcs on this side, on that side. So there is an arc command. I prefer to use the arc center. You can also use like the ellipse center kind of that one. I mean, whichever the case, whichever convenient you may feel, you can use it. It's just a matter of trimming after that if you want to. I mean, I can go with that one too. So it's like specify in the point of the just then probably this is the end point, and then this is the other end point. You get one side of the arc. You do the same thing with the other end of the arc. I'll still be using this as my center. I'll snap this, the radius, the minor radius, and I mean for this one it's going to be the major, and then I'm going to put it here. And then after that, what do? I'm going to use the trim function, and then I'm going to trim the parts that I don't want. This is not part of it. of course this side of the arc is not going to be part of it either, so I prefer to have this center line as my trimming object, and maybe trim those parts. Okay, and then again trim, use this and trim this part. Again trim, I'm going to use this side and this side of the arc, and then trim those edges, that edge and that edge. This part is not really that necessary, and then of course this, then you know, this line, you don't need it anymore, you don't need this, you don't need this, you really don't need this either, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to move this thing over here, but before that I need an offset of by about, let's say, I don't know, 0.25 something. It's just like to give this thing a lot more just reality check. Okay, then you can trim anything that you may feel is not necessary. You can select this line and trim those two corners. Yeah, you can do the same thing on this side. Trim that, trim that. We're pretty close, and then I'm going to select this and then move this middle part and then snap it on the middle part of this drawing. Okay, move like that. Okay, then probably, yeah, I don't need this. I need this guy. Yeah, pretty much that's it. And you can draw a line. I don't know if you really need to snap it somewhere, but just to make it from here, I'll go probably about 3 units and then snap it. I'll do the same thing on the other end. I'll go around 3 and snap it. It's okay. I'm not worried much about like the looks. That's it. So I created a toilet seat, and I'm going to move this, and because it's against the wall, then preferably like pick the side of the toilet that is facing the wall. Okay, so mostly it is here. Then I'm going to bring it here, as close as here if you need it. I don't know, maybe around here. We'll turn off the object snap, otherwise it will snap it by somewhere. So maybe you can put it at the middle, or maybe you want to have a tab here, for instance, and maybe you would like to have the toilet here and the sink over there, and so on and so forth. You will have lots and plenty of options, but it's also by the door, but it's up to you. So you can snap it here if you wish to, and that's it. So now I did a toilet seat, and zoom and extend. You can see how your drawing looks. Pretty much it's coming along. For instance, next time we may fit in bed and in the bedroom. dining table here, couch and other things here. You know, you will learn all those things like step by step anyway. So that is the part, and the last part is asking you to do the following. It says create 4 viewports and show the 4 different kitchen furniture, center each on the viewport. So use a reasonable scale to lock them. Okay, so what you can do is like, where do you show the viewport? Don't show any viewport stuff like on the model. Okay, viewports must be shown on the layouts. Okay, so if I click on the layout, then this is what I see. This is the default viewport. You can hold it and then extend it to wherever you want, like, so you can extend it to here, right? But the thing is, I'm going to delete this because I'm creating 4 equal viewports. So how do you create them? You type just simply viewports and press enter, then automatically a dialog box will show up. Then that dialog box will ask you like what you want to do. I'm going to create 4 equal viewports. Click OK, and the viewports should or must run from these broken lines. It has to be within the broken lines. The broken lines are the demarcations where it shows like what part will be printed and what part will not be printed. So once you have that, what you're going to do is go ahead and then double click inside any of them to activate it. Okay, so viewport is like your printing space. I can change the paper size to any size I want. Like, of course, you know, like just to show you, if you will do right click and then there's like edit page setup, then there you will have plenty of options like what kind of paper size you want to print this object. So you have like a list of them over here, but this is not like for today's lesson, but just for today what I'm trying to show you is like viewports. Okay, so you know, you can use the pan option there, and for instance, like I can show the range here, for instance, you know, everything only range only, like I'm not interested in the other part. So this is the stop. If you want, like you can turn off the grid so that like you can clearly see here's the stop. Go next, double click inside, it's active, then here you can show the sync, for instance, right? There I have the sync. Again, I can turn off this so that you can see it. Okay, so you can do reasonable scaling if you want to. Like you can turn on a specific scaling, what scale you like to use, and what you can do is like you can lock it to some kind of a good scale instead of like having just some kind of a random scale on for your drawing. What you can do is like always like there's a preferable scaling thing. Okay, so for instance, this is what the scale is. So you can go and check it here. It's the auto scale is here. So make sure that it's checked. Once it's checked, like when you size it, like you can see the number right here is changing. Okay, so but you know, the scaling is like for instance, when you send it to me, when you submit your work, I want to have it like at the way it is like this without like being distorted. So 0.125 is not really a proper scale. It's not. Okay, proper scale is like you click on here and then you see 1:1, 1:2, and so on and so forth. Okay, sometimes you can estimate it, like for instance 0.125 means like 125 over 8,000, right? 100,000, but 100, that's like 0.125, right? So if you approximate that, you may assume that's 0.1. So 0.1 in other words means 1 to 10, right? So if I do 1 to 10, the figure shouldn't really significantly change in size. You see, it's perfect. But at the same time, like I can have like I can have it like that, and then you know I can leave it like that. If you want to have it a little smaller, you can also do that. All right. So that's how you do it. That's how I want you to do it. You go and show me like another drawing of the stuff, like for instance the dishwasher here. Turn it off. Right, you can see approximately a proper scale for this is also 1 to 10. You can put it like, for instance, just you can try 1 to 20. It's a little smaller. Probably 1 to 8 may accommodate it. Try it. Yeah, good. 1 to 8 is also a good scale for this one. This is 1 to 10. This is 1 to 8. And for instance, you can also show me like, I don't know, the sink maybe. Activate that. Okay. Oh, I already showed the sink actually. Maybe what's left at the fridge. In the fridge, maybe this is like 0.0. It's approximately around the same value. You can have it like, for instance, 1 to 5 maybe, or bigger. Yeah, 1 to 5 is big. Maybe 1 to 16. It's a little smaller, but you still can see it. Okay, so those are like nicely done. That's pretty much it. Those are the things that you are expected to do in today's lab. So make sure that like you follow the steps. So you are putting and showing your things here. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you make changes here in the model, because you haven't changed anything in the model. Okay. AutoCAD, again, this is a perfect software. You know, it's just an amazing software. It's so powerful. You can do so many things, especially like as an engineer. Everyone should really learn at least how to do like 2-dimensional drawings. Okay, perfect. Until next time, see you.